Yeah, believe it or not, this used to be me. Long hair, red bandana, green army jacket, and tried to always carry that scowl wherever I went. And it's funny, when I look back, I didn't realize what an angry kid I was. You know, when I had good family, but when I was young, my dad took a job with the government, and we ended up moving around a lot. We moved around so much that I ended up going to 10 or 11 schools in a 12-year period. It's too bad, because I look back and we lived in some great places and I had some great friends, and I think that's what made me so angry, was that I didn't want to leave. And we were in perpetual movement, always. Probably a good thing I played football, because I could let out some aggression out on the football field, but in reality, I turned to drugs, alcohol, and my share of fighting, and I'm just a real unhappy kid. I guess I really didn't dispute the fact that Jesus was who he said he was. But, you know, just knowing that he is who he is doesn't make you a Christian. Matter of fact, the scriptures tell us that the adversary clearly knows who he is. He just chooses not to follow him. 16, 17 years old, standing at a party. And I got a beer in one hand, a cigarette in another. And this man comes up to me, and he gets like right in my face, like you know, like definitely in my space. And he shoves his hand out, and he's like, "Dick Odell, nice to meet you." And I'm thinking to myself, ooh, this guy needs to back up, you know? The guy started asking me questions, and what was different about him than anybody else is he actually cared about what the answers were. And that was pretty amazing to me as a young person, especially living the life I was living. And I ended up being very, very close with his daughters and ultimately their whole family, and stayed when we lived in Europe. Then we came back to California, so we've always been very, very close to this day, all these years later. And the love that guy shared with me throughout my life was impactful. And it's just a great experience to see how love does affect people. And a few years back, when it was time for him to pass, he was battling some forms of cancer and different things, and we knew it was the end, so it was a bunch of family members and myself were in the room with him. I'm a firm believer that even if someone is in a coma or that type of state, I think if you speak to them, I think that they can receive that. And so I just kind of was a little bit uncomfortable because the room was full of people, but I just grabbed his hand and just thanked him. And as I'm getting ready to leave, he sits up, looks like right here, and says, "I love you too." Then he lays back down, and he never speaks again. And I'm getting goosebumps right now, because I'll tell you what, the purity of that moment and the power of that love can change you forever. To go from there to realize that the love that God has for us so outweighs that. And it's overwhelming at times, but love is the real deal, and it's the answer to a lot of problems. And if we were more loving to one another and just be receptive to God to share his love with us, I think that we can change the planet.